Okay, this is video 1 for Microsoft Access 2016 Project 2, which is titled Querying a Database. So here are some of the things we're going to do in Project 2. Creating queries using Design View, include fields in the design grid, use text and numeric data in criteria, create and use parameter queries, use compound criteria in queries, sort data in queries, join tables in queries, create a report and a form from a query, export data from a query to another application, perform calculations and calculate statistics in queries, create crosstab queries, and customize the navigation pane. Okay, so in Project 1, we did a bunch of different things, created some tables, created some queries, a form, and a couple reports. So this is obviously in particular going to go much deeper into querying the data in a database. Okay, so remember, query is kind of the fancy word for search. So this is kind of an example of, the power of a database. Okay, it's nice to have something that can just hold data and store data, but it's what you can do with the information in a database and search it and organize it that makes it kind of a powerful tool. So this, as you can see, is going to go really in depth into searching for certain data within the database. So it's all about queries. So this is going to be pretty complex. So there's going to be a few different videos for this project. So this will be video 1, and I'm not exactly sure how far through we will get in video 1, but we will get started. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is log into your SAM account. Okay, and your screen is going to look different than mine because this is the teacher view. But what you are looking for, at least Mr. McGann's class, I named this Access 2016 Project 2. And again, it's the textbook project, okay, which is the ones we do together. So Access 2016 Project 2, the textbook project. We want to go ahead and start that. Okay, and you have a start file here. Okay, so this is the start file we want to use. So we're going to click on that. All right, and then once it downloads, like we normally do, we'll open that up. We're going to click Enable Content. Okay, and then before we go any farther, let's pause here and let's save this to your H drive in your Access project or Chapter 2 or Project 2 folder, whatever you had named that. Okay, you don't need to do anything to the file name. Let's just get it saved into your Access folder on your H drive now. Okay, now that we have it saved, we can go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is to create a query in Design View. So we have this open here, and we are going to, sorry, this is the Home tab. We're going to click on the Create tab, okay, and then click on Query Design. Okay, and when we have the Show Table button, we're going to click Account. Okay, and then click Add. All right, and then we can close this box because that's the only table we want to use right now. So we can close this dialog box. Okay, and then up here you'll see the account table, which is here. It shows up here. Okay, so what we want to do is drag this down so we can see all the different fields that are in the account table. All right, so we're going to add some of these to the query. Not all of them, okay, but only certain ones. So you just double click on the fields that you want to include down here, okay? And you could also, we could double click these, or you can also hit the drop down box and it will have the selections from above in there. All right, but we're going to choose account number, okay? You can see it shows up in the first box. We're going to do account name. We're going to add the amount paid. So we're going to go all the way down to amount paid. Double click. And then add the current due field. So current due. So these are the fields we want included in the query. And again, you could use the drop-down menu here to select those fields. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add some criteria. Okay, so if we ran this now, we would just see everybody in the table, their account number, their name, amount paid, and current due. But we want to add some criteria so that we're only searching for certain information that fits what we're looking for. Okay, so under the account number, we're going to go down to criteria. So again, just a little review. You can search based on criteria from any of the fields that you include in the query. You just need to be in the appropriate box when you add it. So in the account number criteria, we're going to enter JM323 as the criteria. So we're searching for only account numbers that have that exact account number. Okay, and then I'm going to click Run, which runs my query. All right, and then there's only one, because account number was the unique primary key. So only one account can have that account number, and there it is. Okay, so I want to click Save. So it's going to save this query. Okay, and it's going to ask us for a query name. All right, so here's the name we're going to use. It's kind of a weird one. I have no idea why we're giving it this name, but it's M02Q01. M02Q01. And okay. And now you see it is added to your query list over here on the side. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is using something called a wildcard in search criteria. Okay, so up in the upper left in view, right now we're in datasheet view of the query. Okay, we're still looking at our M02Q01 query. This is the datasheet view that shows the results of the query. I'm going to switch back to design view. Okay, and again, here's everything we searched for. And the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this criteria, this JM323 that we had put in. So just click next to it and backspace your way out so that's removed. And we're going to go over to account name. Okay, and the criteria for account name. So this is going to use something called a wildcard. So we're going to type in the letter K. Okay, actually let's do a capital K. And then the asterisk. So Shift 8 for the asterisk. And what that's going to do is going to search any account name that starts with the letter K. Okay, so it has to start with that letter. Okay, so anything that starts with the letter K. If we didn't have the asterisk, it would just search for the letter K. All right, so K asterisk, it's going to start with that. So let's just run with that and click Run. All right, and then we have account names, Key Community College System, and Cal Veterinarian Services. All right, so it shows only those. All right, so we can experiment with that a little just to see if I was correct. I'm going to come back here. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to put in a lowercase k and run and see what happens. All right, we get nothing with just a lowercase k. So let's see if lowercase k with an asterisk would do anything. Okay, so case does not matter. So it's not case sensitive, so we could have used a lowercase k. But you see how the asterisk then looked for names that start with the letter K. Okay, so that's what the asterisk is doing. Okay, without the asterisk, it was only looking for an account name that was just K. Okay, it's one letter account name. We don't have any of those. All right, so we can put that back in, or I'm going to put that back in. So K with the asterisk and run that. So there we have our thing. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to save this again, but don't just click save, okay? Because we're going to save this with a different name. Okay, so I'm going to go up to File, Save As. Okay, now here's the difference. I want to do Save Object As. So that query is an object within the database. So your tables, your queries, your reports, your forms, those are objects within the database. All right, so I want to save object as, double click that, okay, and then it's saying I want to save a copy of that. And what I want to do is get rid of the words copy of. And then change that 1 to a 2 there. So it says save M02Q01 to M02Q02. Right? And then click OK. And now we have both of them there. All right, so that was saving an object. All right, probably a good idea to click the Save button. That saves up here. That saves everything that we've done. All right. So what we're going to do is go back to Design View here. So again, this is Datasheet View. I know I'm getting repetitive, where we see the results of our query. View back to Design View. All right, so again, I want to take out this criteria we had for account name. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to use criteria for a field that we aren't even going to have show up in the results of the query. All right, so back over here, we're going to add a new field to the right of current due. And we'll just use the drop-down menu this time. All right, and we're going to go to city. So we're going to add the city. And what we want to do is, in the criteria, we're going to type in one of the cities in our table is Granger, Granger. Okay, but see this checkbox right here that says show? I'm going to take the check mark out. Okay, so it's still going to include the city field when searching. It's only going to search for fields, or records, I should say, records within the city field that have Granger as the answer, but the actual word Granger is not going to show up. Okay, so I'm going to click Run. All right, and now we have 3. Now, even though city's not there, I know that these 3 accounts are located in Granger, because I used that criteria in my search, but I didn't need it to have it show up. Okay, so if we were printing this or something, it would be unneeded data to print. Okay, so you don't have to include things visually in your queries. You can use it and include it and have it not show up. Okay, now the last thing we're going to do in video 1 here is create something called a parameter query. Okay, and you'll see what that means as I get going here. So again, we want to go to View and go to Design View. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this Granger. All right, and what I want to enter is in the block. So that was the blocks. Okay, the word enter. Oops. And then city, and then close the blocks. So make sure you're using these blocks over by the enter key. Okay, so we're putting in a parameter that what we want to have happen is, if we want to search for different cities, we don't always want to have to come to the design view of the query itself and enter it here. Okay, so when I click Run, you'll see what happens. See, now I'm prompted. What city do you want to look for? Okay, so you're just entering that, and then it'll always give you that command. So I can type in Wells, and then click OK. And now I'm only, again, they're not showing, but I know these accounts are in Wells. So every time we went to this query and hit Run, we're going to get prompted to enter a city. Okay, so that's called a parameter. All right, so I want to, before we run out of time here, do a quick File, Save As. Again, Save Object As. Double click. And what we want to do is we're going to save this one here as, it's called, account dash city query. And then OK. We are now done with this. Click one save up there, save the whole thing. Well, that is the end of part 1.